In the vast Pacific Ocean, Japanese tuna fishing boats begin their long journeys out to sea. Each boat is equipped with modern facilities like a miniature factory in the middle of the ocean, with a freezer, cold storage, sonar and satellite positioning system to monitor the migrating tuna. As soon as the sun rises, the crew is on deck, preparing for a new working day. Fishing lines tens of kilometers long are dropped into the sea, with thousands of hooks attached with bait of fresh sardines or live squid, attracting giant tuna weighing from 100 to more than 300 kilograms. The Japanese call this method longline fishing, a traditional fishing method but still maintained because it helps preserve the best quality of fish meat. When the tuna is hooked, each sailor coordinates quickly, pulling the line by hand or with a support machine, avoiding letting the fish struggle for too long because high body temperature will reduce the quality of the meat. As soon as the fish are brought aboard, the fishermen immediately perform the ikejime process, a unique Japanese technique for processing raw fish. They use a metal rod to precisely pierce the fish's spinal cord to stop nerve activity, preventing the fish from stiffening and keeping it fresh. Next, the fish's blood is drained, its organs are removed, its body is washed with cold sea water, and then immediately put into a deep freezer at -60 degrees Celsius. This temperature helps the fish to retain its bright red color, muscle fiber structure, and distinctive flavor, similar to that of a freshly caught fish. Each frozen tuna is wrapped in a sealed bag, numbered, and fully recorded with information such as date and time, catch coordinates, and bait used, while part of the crew continues fishing. The rest process and arrange the tuna in the cold storage. This work takes place continuously, day and night, amidst the fierce waves of the ocean. After many days, when the cold storage is full, the ship will return to port. However, to ensure freshness, many ships do not dock directly but transfer their cargo to specialized refrigerated transport ships in the middle of the sea. These transport ships have a stable refrigeration system at -60 degrees Celsius and bring the tuna straight to major ports such as Shimizu, Misaki or Kasanuma. Upon arrival at the port, the fish are put into cold storage and thoroughly checked for quality. Qualified fish are auctioned at the famous Toyosu Fish Market in Tokyo, where high-end sushi chefs compete to buy the most perfectly textured red tuna. Some are transported by air to restaurants in the US, Europe and other Asian countries within 24 hours of leaving the ship. The entire process, from catching, processing, freezing to transporting, is carried out with high precision, almost like an art. Thanks to that, Japanese tuna has always maintained its reputation for freshness and world-class quality, becoming the pride of the country's seafood industry and a symbol of the discipline, meticulousness and dedication of Japanese fishermen on their journey to bring tuna back to land. Japanese fishermen face many challenges at sea. Big storms, tens of meters high waves, or freezing weather in the middle of winter can all make the trip dangerous. However, they still persevere at sea, because each tuna not only has economic value but is also the pride of the fishermen. On board, the sailors work in shifts, almost without the concept of day or night. During the day, they check the fishing nets, change the bait, observe the water currents and temperature to predict the direction of the fish. At night, they use high-powered headlights to shine on the sea surface, both attracting fish and making it easier to operate when pulling the line. In the hold, the freezing area is continuously operated by a powerful air compressor, maintaining a stable temperature. Any incident that increases the temperature by even a few degrees can seriously reduce the quality of the fish. Therefore, engineers on board must regularly check the cooling system, generators, and even reserve fuel. Each step is meticulously monitored to ensure that the fishing, freezing, transporting process takes place seamlessly without interruption. When the ship is nearing port, fishermen will classify the fish according to size and quality. Large tuna with dark red and firm meat will be evaluated as grade A, the type used for high-end sushi restaurants. Grade B and C are processed into sashimi or used in the canning industry. In Japan, there are auctions where a single grade A tuna can fetch more than $100,000 even millions of USD if it has the ideal meat color and fat content. After the auction, the fish are immediately transported to specialized trimming facilities. Workers use long, sharp knives to divide the fish into precise parts. The fatty belly of the fish is called toro, and the redder meat is called akami. All are kept in an absolutely cold environment to preserve the original flavor. Tuna is distributed all over the country, from large supermarkets to traditional sushi restaurants. In Tokyo, Osaka or Hokkaido, when diners enjoy each slice of fresh tuna melting on their tongue, few people imagine that behind it is the long and arduous journey of the fisherman. They live for months drifting in the middle of the ocean, thousands of kilometers away from the mainland, having to work in harsh conditions to bring this precious food source. Japanese tuna fishing boats are not only a means of fishing but also a symbol of serious work spirit, discipline and passion for the sea. Thanks to that, Japanese tuna has become a global quality standard, considered the red gold of the ocean, carrying both the flavor of the ocean and the dedication of the people of the land of the rising sun after the tuna is brought to the port and goes through the auction stage. A portion is kept frozen for export to international markets. Specialized shipping companies will use refrigerated containers maintained at -60 degrees Celsius, ensuring that the cold circuit is not broken during the journey. From Shimizu or Toyosu ports, tuna is transported by refrigerated trucks to Narita Airport. then boarded refrigerated cargo planes to fly directly to the US, Europe or Asian countries such as Korea, Singapore, and Vietnam. At each destination, the tuna still retains its fresh taste as if it had just been pulled from the sea. This is the secret that helps Japanese tuna always be more highly valued than fish from other countries. Another factor that contributes to the quality of Japanese tuna is the strict control throughout the production chain. From fishing, ship operation, freezing, transportation, to distribution, all comply with hack procedures and strict Japanese hygiene standards. Fishermen must keep detailed records of each catch location, water temperature, haul time, bait type, and preservation method. This information is stored for traceability, allowing customers and international importers to know exactly where when, and by what method the fish was caught. This not only demonstrates professionalism, but also helps protect the reputation of the Japanese seafood industry globally. In coastal fishing villages like Oma or Kasanuma, tuna fishing has become part of the culture. Every tuna season, people hold festivals to pray for safe seas, thank the sea god, and pray for lucky trips at sea. Veteran fishermen pass on their experience to the younger generation, teaching them how to recognize fish by the color of the water, how to handle fish to achieve the highest quality, and the spirit of enduring hardships at the forefront of the waves and winds. In each tuna they bring home is the sweat, effort, and pride of the Japanese people for the ocean. Although modern technology has greatly assisted in fishing, the spirit of respecting nature and valuing quality over quantity is still maintained. Many fishermen only catch enough fish, not overexploiting to preserve marine resources. Some boats also apply tuna school tracking systems to avoid catching young fish, protecting ecological balance. Thanks to these values, tuna fishing in Japan is not only an economic sector but also a long-standing cultural tradition, demonstrating the philosophy of living in harmony between humans and the ocean. And when the fresh red tuna pieces are displayed on the dining table, people not only enjoy the fatty, sweet taste but also feel the journey of hard work, passion and perseverance of the people who have overcome thousands of miles of storms to bring back this precious gift from the deep sea. In fact, the journey of a tuna from being caught to appearing on the sushi table is a meticulous and perfectly synchronized series of tasks. After being auctioned, the highest quality tuna will be selected by chefs or distributors to serve at luxury restaurants. The process of thawing frozen tuna also requires high technique, because just the wrong temperature or time will break the meat fiber structure, losing its shine and natural sweetness. The Japanese do not thaw with warm water, but they let the fish gradually soften in a cold environment, maintaining a temperature of about 0 to 5 degrees Celsius. This helps the fish retain its firmness and characteristic red color. Then, each piece of fish meat is cut with a specialized sashimi knife, long, thin and extremely sharp blades. Only well-trained chefs have the skills to do it. When cutting, they always keep the knife in the direction of the meat fibers, avoiding damaging the cell structure, because just one wrong cut will cause the sashimi to lose its inherent smoothness and flavor. Each slice of fatty taro tuna, shining bright pink like jade, is placed neatly on a hinoki wooden tray, served with wasabi and vinegared rice, creating the famous Japanese nigiri dish. For the Japanese, tuna is not only food but also a symbol of purity and respect for nature. Fishermen, traders, and chefs all consider each fish as a gift from the sea. So every step is carried out with respect. In many coastal areas such as Omar or Hachinohe, people consider each ship returning with a full hold of tuna to be the pride of the whole village. When the ship arrives at the port, children run out to greet it. Adults help transport the fish to the factory. The atmosphere is bustling like a festival. They believe that tuna brings luck and prosperity to the whole community. In addition, tuna fishing in Japan also plays an important role in preserving traditional knowledge and skills. Although there are many automated ship systems, positioning devices, and modern machines. The spirit of sea artisans, people who understand the sea, grasp the rhythm of waves, wind, and ocean currents with their own feelings, is still passed down through many generations. That is what makes tuna fishing not just a job, but a part of the soul of the Japanese sea. Japanese fishermen understand that tuna only reproduce and move in certain sea areas, so they always pay attention to controlled fishing, ensuring sustainability. Local fishing organizations often limit the number of hooks, the number of catches, and the fishing season to avoid destroying fish stocks. With this respect, they not only maintain long-term economic benefits, but also protect the life of the ocean for future generations. Every time the sun sets on the Sea of Japan, as tuna fishing boats quietly move towards the horizon, we can imagine a whole culture continuing, where people and the sea blend together in the rhythm of life. Where each tuna is not only a dish but also the crystallization of labor, intelligence and gratitude towards the vast nature when night falls in the middle of the vast ocean. Japanese tuna fishing boats are still lit up like small islands floating in the open sea. The steady sound of generators blends with the sound of waves, wind, and sometimes cheers when a giant tuna is pulled onto the deck. In that space, fishermen are still working diligently, their eyes following each fishing line, their experienced hands pulling the line, avoiding the strong struggle of the fish that breaks the steel wire. When the fish floats to the surface, a few people use iron hooks to lightly hook the tail to bring it onto the boat. The whole process takes place in absolute concentration, because a small mistake can cause a fish weighing hundreds of kilograms to fall into the sea. After the fish is brought up, they do not rush to celebrate but immediately proceed to process it to ensure the quality of the meat. Everyone understands that if they are delayed for just a few minutes, the fish's body temperature will increase, causing the meat to change color and lose its value. Once the fish are deep frozen, the captain records all the data of the fishing trip in a notebook: coordinates, water temperature, towing time, number of fish and the condition of each fish. This information will be transferred to the purchasing company when the ship returns to port. In Japan, this data management not only serves to trace the origin but also helps them analyze to improve fishing methods for the following seasons. The more information, the more accurate the ability to determine fish flows and migration points. That is why many Japanese tuna fishing boats are like mobile laboratories at sea. Combining traditional experience with modern technology. After many weeks of continuous work, when the freezer is full, the boat turns back to the mainland. The feeling of seeing the Japanese mountain range gradually appearing on the horizon always fills the hearts of fishermen with emotion. They knew that after a long journey, the tuna they brought back was not just a commodity, but the result of sweat, effort and the spirit of the Japanese people, the spirit of resilience in the face of difficulties. When the ship docked, the scene was bustling. Forklifts, workers, traders and inspectors were all waiting. The tuna were taken straight from the freezer to the dock, wrapped in thick cloth to avoid condensation. Each fish was weighed, photographed and checked by making a small incision in the tail to see the color of the meat. Experienced experts could tell the quality just by looking at the red color and gloss of the meat. Fish with bright red color, smooth fibers, white fat interspersed like marble were ranked as the highest grade, ready to be auctioned early the next morning. The whole fish market resounded with laughter, whistles, and buyers bargaining, all blending into the typical rhythm of the Japanese seafood industry. And from here, those tuna will continue their journey, to the hands of chefs, to the dining tables of millions of people around the world, carrying the pure taste of the ocean and the long story about the dedication, precision and love of the sea of Japanese fishermen, people who live with the wind and waves, preserving the reputation of Japanese tuna as an eternal symbol of quality and national pride. After the early morning auction at Toyosu Fish Market, the highest quality tuna are immediately transported by refrigerated trucks to prestigious restaurants or artisanal processing facilities. Here, the next processing step is carried out with the same meticulousness and sophistication as any other step on the ship. The worker uses a specialized knife Maguro Bocho, a blade more than 2 meters long, to cut the giant tuna into precise sections. The knife is so long that only one seamless cut is needed, without crushing the meat fibers, preserving the smoothness and natural sweetness. This work requires great skill and strength. because the frozen fish body is as hard as rock. But the worker still has to keep each slice even, thin and beautiful. After being cut apart, each part of the fish is classified again. The fatty belly or toro is bright pink, soft and fragrant. The intermediate part or toro is moderate between fat and lean. The red meat of the akami is firm and rich in flavor. Each type is used for different dishes, or toro for fine sushi, or toro for sashimi. And akami is lightly marinated and grilled or made into tataki. In traditional sushi restaurants, the chef stands behind the counter, slicing fresh fish in front of the diners. When the fish is placed on a small ball of rice with a little wasabi, they gently press down so that the fish and rice blend into a perfect whole. The coldness of the fish blends with the warmth of the chef's hands, creating an absolute balance. That is the moment when tuna frozen at sea for months is awakened again with human delicacy and respect. The Japanese say tuna is the soul of sushi. And indeed, no other fish shows their appreciation for seafood like this one. Each piece of tuna that reaches the dining table is the crystallization of dozens of stages. From days drifting on the cold sea, the tense moments when pulling the fish, to the freezing, transportation, auctioning, trimming and processing processes. All are carried out with a spirit of iron discipline and professional pride. In addition, the development of the tuna fishing industry also contributes to shaping the Japanese maritime economy. Major ports such as Oma, Misaki, Kasanuma or Kagoshima have become bustling centers, attracting thousands of workers and supporting businesses such as ice factories, freezing facilities, logistics companies, and seafood markets. Many once poor coastal areas have now become prosperous thanks to tuna fishing. However, along with that comes the responsibility to protect natural resources. The Japanese government and fishermen's associations have set strict regulations on the number of vessels, time and fishing area to avoid depleting fish stocks. Some ships also cooperate with marine research organizations, attaching tracking chips to released fish to collect migration data. Thereby coming up with more reasonable and sustainable fishing plans. Fishermen understand that if they overfish today, the sea will be quiet tomorrow, no longer giving them abundant fishing seasons. Therefore, they always maintain the spirit of taking from the sea but not forgetting to give back to the sea. Just like that, the cycle of tuna fishing in Japan continues, both modern and imbued with the spirit of tradition. The ships still head out to sea day and night, carrying with them aspirations and beliefs, so that every time they return, they bring to the world fresh red tuna, a symbol of precision, perseverance and respect for nature that only the Japanese can preserve so completely during the peak tuna fishing season, which usually starts from May to September. Japanese fishing ports such as Oma, Misaki or Hachinohe are bustling non-stop. Every early morning, dozens of large-capacity ships leave the dock. following each other towards the distant sea, where warm currents from the Pacific Ocean mix with cold currents from the Sea of Okhotsk, creating ideal conditions for tuna to grow. Japanese fishermen understand every movement of the sea, every water current and wind direction, because for them, the sea is not only a place to make a living but also a close friend. They can predict the appearance of a school of fish just by the color of the water surface or the behavior of a swooping seabird. On board, work is organized and disciplined like in a factory. Each sailor takes on a separate task. One drops the line, one pulls, one processes the fish, one records the data, all coordinated smoothly and precisely. Despite working in harsh conditions, they still maintain a calm demeanor, because a small mistake can cost the entire trip hundreds of thousands of yen. Young people often learn the trade from their fathers. Starting by helping out, then gradually passing on the techniques, experience and philosophy of the sea profession. In rare moments of rest, they eat simple meals together in the ship's hold, sitting quietly listening to the sound of the waves, remembering their families and remote fishing villages. They know that with just one good fishing season, the whole village's life will be better. Children will have more books. The elderly will have more money for medicine. Behind the giant tuna is an entire community attached to the sea, living thanks to the sea and grateful for the sea. When the ship returns, the fishing port is bustling with the sound of engines, people calling each other, echoing throughout the area. Giant blocks of fish are lifted by cranes, each weighing hundreds of kilograms, covered in a layer of white ice, emitting a cold, misty smoke. Under the sunlight, the silvery color of the tuna's body shines brightly, as a testament to the arduous journey that people have gone through to obtain it. As soon as they reach the port, inspectors quickly measure the surface temperature, check the frozen state and take samples to ensure the fish meet export standards. Then, the fish are transported to specialized cold storages, where the temperature is always maintained at -60 degrees Celsius by a liquid nitrogen system. In those deep freeze compartments, hundreds of tuna are neatly arranged, preparing for the next journey to markets and restaurants. In Japan, perfection does not come from luck but from relentless dedication. From cold